Carter Company, Mr. Carter speaking. How may I help you? Hello, Mr. Witter. How may I be of service? You need a new auditing firm. I think we can do that. Just give me a few days to work over the details, and I'll give you a call back. Thank you. Here's the deal, fellas. Just got off the phone with Volkswagen's board. Need a new auditing firm. The previous auditing firm was PwC, but fortunately for us, that contract is up. I contacted Mr. Witter, which is one of the lead members of the board, and he wants us to be their firm. I called you to win because you're my most competent accountant. So I want us to team up and get this thing done, because this can be a very huge client for us. And Carter and Company needs this to step up to the rank. You guys on for the challenge?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. Now, as we know, Volkswagen is one of the leading luxury car dealers in the world. They operate from America to Europe to many, many other countries. But those are their main markets, America and Europe. Keep in mind, we can't forget about the other countries like Africa and Latin America that are constantly evolving. So, tell me what you know about Volkswagen. Where can we start with analysis?
Well, first, when it comes to their customer base, we know their customers are mainly prioritizing in the luxury segment. We also know that their customers include auto dealers that specialize in parts, because manufacturing parts is another segment that Volkswagen operates in. As well, their main competitors include BMW, also Fiat Chrysler. You also have General Motors and Ford, who are all becoming more and more aggressive to this day with the increasing rapid technology and things of that nature.
The big thing I've been aware of is the fact that they're recently under lawsuit. And this lawsuit was due to their EPS and under MPG and emission systems. They were falsified, and because of that, a lot of customers were upset. Now, a key thing to notice about this, though, is that even though they were upset, sales haven't decreased as drastically as some projected. This may be a good sign for Volkswagen, but it's really good for BMW, which is a key concern.
I'm glad you brought that up. Keep in mind, as we're doing our analysis, we need to figure out how this was able to happen. How were they able to commit these fraudulent activities and add technologies without anybody being able to know what was going on? Who gave them authority? Was it management? Was it the CEO? So keep that in mind as we go forward.
Another risk to concern are the economic conditions of North America and Europe. While North America is recovering, Europe had a big issue due to the economy in Italy driving down the value of the euro. Luckily, Germany did fix the situation and has helped recover the market. But as the market is just now recovering, I don't think they're quite ready for luxury cars. This could be an issue and a reason for a decline in sales.
And again, mentioning sales, let's not forget one of their main strategic objectives of management is for them to sell at least 10 million vehicles a year. And with their competitors, mainly all recording double-digit increases in sales, recently that poses another risk for Volkswagen, as they've actually incurred for the fourth straight month a sales decline. So that's another risk to take into consideration.
That objective can also bring in a lot of pressures for management to meet these expectations of selling these 10 million vehicles. Right. So we have to watch this company carefully. They've committed fraudulent acts before, and it's possible that they could do it again.
Absolutely.
All right, fellas. So we talked about the background of this company and all the things that they have going on. We brainstormed a little bit about pretty much the factors that could affect this company. And I'm really concerned about the business risks that this company is facing, especially what we've spoken about before. So I think it's time that we focus on what can really go wrong with business and how it will affect Volkswagen's financials in the long run.
Well, particularly most noted is this emission scandal, where you have their EMS, incurring costs of 48 billion in the United States alone. So that just says a lot for what that could pose outside the United States, considering they have such a global impact on the world?
Well, immediately we have to recognize that this is going to be a massive liability incurred by Volkswagen. So the recording of that has to be spot on. They've got to do well in addressing this issue and disclosing this issue. It's going to take a lot of information that, if they don't accurately do, could definitely backfire on Volkswagen.
When we go into our financial analysis section, I want you guys to pay close attention to these accounts that we just mentioned, because these are the accounts that could be affected. If there is something going on, we need to be doing it.
That's right. When you speak in terms of their revenues and their allowance and their write-offs, think about how the collectability of actually collecting these revenues are going to be affected with them having to incur such a higher cost on the outside. And then, most importantly, you have to think about the integrity when it comes to management. I mean, they knew about this for so long, they lied about it, and they made not only their customers feel like everything was okay, but their employees that weren't aware of this that are now suing them because now they're unemployed. Not to mention, senior executives are also facing criminal charges, which also poses more risk for us to take them as a client.
I like what you were saying about the liabilities and the revenue, especially because with revenue, we have to include the fact that their sales are going to decrease. Now, how the integrity of the management affects this decrease could become more fraudulent. So overall, I think this is a very serious issue that has many aspects that we need to focus on.
Absolutely.
So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and say that this company can be considered with a high audit risk, and we need to consider that as we move forward.
Most definitely.
Okay, so we talked about these risks, and these risks have come about because there has to be some type of flaw or something going on within their process. So let's talk about these processes and what's really going on here.
Well, first you have your product management process, whereas it essentially includes the maintenance of their products to ensure that they have the right products available in the right markets. Secondly, you have the quality assurance process, where that's essentially the innovation of the product, making sure you have the right services and warranty packages associated with these products. And last, you have your personnel management, which includes your development of your employees, which includes the Volkswagen performance-oriented pay, whereas employees could be so motivated to increase their pay that they could be committed in fraudulent activities.
So everything you just described seemed to have failed in the emissions scandal. So what does that really say about these management? I mean, obviously they're not doing it in right, and their business processes are failing. This red flags all over.
Why does this company, a company like Volkswagen, which is the leading company in the industry, and they let this happen? Start to get worried. All right, if we decide to take this client on, we need to set up an audit plan. That means we need to know what accounts we need to investigate. So what did you find with doing the analytical procedures within the financial statements?
So first we have our cash and cash equivalents line item, which actually had a decrease of 27%. Now we want to consider, with everything that's going on in regards to this emissions lawsuit, is that because of all of the costs that they have to pay from that lawsuit, or what's going on? Because we know that's a possibility, but we don't know for sure. So that'll definitely be an account that we want to dig deeper into to figure out what's going on.
They have an account known as other reserves, and it's gone negative. 300% increase in how negative this account is. Now, it may be them tapping into retained earnings, but we really don't know what that could be. So further disclosure and further information is going to be important. While it does kind of show that it's trending towards the lawsuit path, we want to make sure that the accounts match the trend.
And then you have your provisions for pensions, which also had a 21% increase. Now we want to consider, are these pensions specifically going towards employee benefits? Are those benefits that were given because of keeping their mouths shut about what's been going on with their emissions? So that would be another account which we want to take into consideration to figure out what's going on.
All right. Well, these sounds like a good start. I just want us to keep in mind materiality when we're thinking of these accounts, because there's always going to be fluctuations, and we can't have a red flag for every fluctuation. But when we set a preliminary materiality, we'll be in good hands. So in the past, when we've done audits for these companies, there were certain accounts that had a high likelihood of risk and fraud from misstatements. What accounts would those be for Volkswagen?
Well, the first account I would think of is cash. This is specifically because the ease in materiality of the statement could be due to fraud, could be just small controls not actively being monitored. Cash has just always been an account that you want to keep your eye on, and especially in a time in which they are paying large amounts to their customers due to this lawsuit. An extra false customer or two in there could drastically shift this company in the wrong direction.
Also, you want to consider your liabilities and your receivables from customers, whereas your liabilities could be a result again from the lawsuit of the amount that you owe the customers, where there's going to be a high transaction volume but at a low value. And then with your receivables from receivables from customers, you also want to consider that's going to be your bread and butter of where you're going to be getting your revenue. So you want to consider, is the uncollectability going to increase due to this state of financial struggling that they're going to be in with all of the liabilities, again, that they're going to have to pay to offset.
Similar to that, you're going to have the receivables and liabilities to credit institutions. Now, these are large values, but there's fewer of them. So with that, you're really going to want to make sure that these exist, and simple confirmations from credit institutions will really alleviate the risk in those accounts. There's no reason for a credit institution to lie about how much is owed or how much they owe.
And in the past, we've run into a lot of complexities with accounts such as tax. And I have a friend, Dr. Hill. I'll have her come in and check that account out for me. She's a specialist.
So we've brought to you our risks and our concerns and things. Do you believe the company has properly disclosed this information? I know you took some time to work on the disclosure.
Yeah, I spent hours upon hours reading through these disclosures, and the accounts that I've noticed were specifically with receivables. The receivables for Volkswagen from both the banks and the customers are recognized at amortized cost using an effective interest method. Now, we have to keep in mind things like exchange rate fluctuations, and I wanted to be sure that the company wasn't allowing their receivables to fluctuate when exchange rates fluctuated. And just like I thought they didn't, they properly disclosed and classified this account, and receivables is complete. Okay, fellas, we've been here for a long time tonight, and before I let you go, we have to come up with a memo. I have to have something to send back to the board so they understand what we went through and why we must choose to accept or deny their request for us to be the auditor. So what do you have for me in regards to the key account, like cash?
Well, starting with cash, you're mainly concerned about the transaction volume, which is at a high amount. So that means there are going to be many ways to manipulate fraud within that account.
I like that we're talking about cash, but I'm really worried about credit institutions because I feel like that's a big location and a lot of things can go missing.
Well, of course. Well, with credit institutions, you're not so much concerned about the volume, you're more so concerned about the value. And with credit institutions, we have both receivables and liabilities. Now, with receivables, you want to make sure that you reduce the risk of improper valuation from bad debt. And with your liabilities, you want to ensure that there's proper authorization put in place regarding the controls that we have.
What about the customer?
And now with the customers, it's basically a flip of that. You're not concerned about the value, you're more so concerned about the large volume within that account. Again, that both has receivables as well as liabilities. So you want to make sure, again, with receivables that they're valued properly And with liabilities, we also want to make sure there's proper authorization, but more so with receivables, you want to minimize the amount of uncollectibles that you incur.
Sounds like you took really thorough notes for this meeting. I'm sure they're gonna get all the information they want.
Okay, guys. Well, we've done our research. We figured out the controls. We figured out the risk. Now the question is, does Carter Company really have what it takes to take the company on? Now I know we want to rise up in the rankings and become that firm, but do you think it's too soon?
I would love to jump on this, but in all good faith, I honestly think this case needs far more attention, far more manpower than our company can offer.
I was afraid you'd say that. I give the board a call. I'll let them know that we cannot accept the request. Good job, fellas. Good morning. It's Mr. Carter from Carter Company. May I speak to Mr. Witter, please? I'll hold it. Hey, Mr. Witter, how's it going? Now, I've been meeting with my team, and we've been discussing this audit engagement. And unfortunately, after doing our research and discussing the issues that your company's been going through, I'm not sure if now's the time for us to take on that position as your audit client. I hope you understand, and I'll gladly send you over the memo to discuss everything that we've talked about tonight. And we can also meet to discuss how we can solve these issues and work better in the future. No hard feelings.